Hey guys, my name is Amit. You're on a learning path of HTTP. So our topic is HTTP request message. We'll deep dive into HTTP request header. Okay. In the earlier video, we have talked about the request line. So what is request line? The first line of the HTTP request message is called as a request line. So request line consists of the method by which the request is going, that is post method, the URI and the protocol version. This is the protocol version, that is HTTP 1.1. So from the second line till this blank line is called as a request header, right? It's called as a HTTP header or request header. So in the request header, you can see there are some name value pair, right? So user agent is a name and value is this. So there are some name value pair: host, user agent, connection, content length, accept language, accept encoding, connection. So our agenda is to know more about all these all these names and value. So this is all about this video. So let's start. So as you can see, there are some host. Okay, what host signifies? Host specifies the domain name of the server and optionally the port number. So as you can see, there are no port number given for the host. Okay, if there will be no port number given, that means the default port number is there, that is 80. So 80 is the default port number for HTTP. So from HTTP 1.1, the host header field is must for a request message. If there is no host header field in the request message from HTTP 1.1, then it will be considered as a bad request by the server, and a response code of 400 will come back to the client. Okay, so that will be considered as a bad request by the server. As you can see, there is a content type. What that content type means? The content type is an entity header actually, and it is used to indicate the media type of the resources. What are the resources that we are expecting? That is the content type. That is a media type. Okay, media type means this is the media type has been given application.x www from URL encoded. So there is a lot of MIME types that you can learn, that you can see. I'll try to give a link of all the MIME types available in HTTP in the description. Next is content length. What is content length? It is an entity header, indicates the size of entity, body in bytes. So in the content length, whatever length you will, you can see, here there are no length specified. If the length is 10, then it will be 10 bytes. So it is in bytes. Okay, the content length. Then is accept language. The accept language HTTP header indicates that which language the client understand. So we send accept this value as a request message to the server, so that server can understand what are the language that client can understand. So you can see client can understand English and US version. Okay, so client can understand which local variant is preferred. So this here US variant is preferred for English. Okay, next is accept encoding. Do you know what is encoding? What is decoding? So accept encoding, usually a compression algorithm. Okay, so this we send to server, so that server can understand the compression algorithm is being used for the network data transmission. Next is connection, is very very important. Okay, connection, we have already talked a lot about this. So connection header controls whether or not the network connection stays open after the current transaction finishes. What that means? It means, as you can see, client send a request to the server, but before sending the request, there are a connection that establishes from client to server, that is a TCP connection. And after server send the response back to the client, this connection gets disconnected, right? This connection gets lost in the HTTP 1.0. So that is a non-persistent connection. We have already talked about this. So this connection header signifies whether the connection will be a persistent connection or non-persistent connection. If the connection value will be keep alive, then it will be a persistent connection. That means even after the response will come back to the client, the connection will be still open for the subsequent request. So this is all about it. And then the user agent, yeah, user agent allows network protocols to identify the application type, operating system, software vendor, software version of the requesting software user agent. That means there is a browser, this is the operating system that you can see. So this is all about the request header. So if we will summarize, then let's summarize again once again. So as you can see, there are host. Okay, there are host. So what is host? Host means the domain name. Okay, the domain name means the domain that we are trying to be connected to. So that is www.response.com. This is the domain name here. Fine. Here is content type. Content type means the media type. Okay, it is a media type. That is a MIME type. Okay, that is a MIME type. Fine with that. That is a MIME type. I'll give a link in the description for the various MIME type available. This is the content length, means the length of the content in bytes. Accept language, that means what are the language that client can understand, and what is the variant is preferred, that you can see English language and variant is US. Accept encoding means the compression technique, means which content encoding, usually a compression algorithm, the client is able to understand. So client understands JGFD flat, this is the compression algorithm. Connection dignifies whether the connection will be a persistent connection or non-persistent connection. If the value will be keep alive, then the connection will be a persistent connection. If the value will not be keep alive, then the connection will not be a persistent connection. That means the client, after the client will receive the response back from the server, the connection will be lost. That means HTTP 1.0. So if the connection will be non-persistent, then definitely here will be HTTP 1.0, that is the default for non-persistent connection, and HTTP 1.1 is a default for persistent connection. Thank you guys.